Hey everybody, Movie Review Next Door here, and tonight I bring you a review of the 2019 film. It's kind of hard to see. Domino. This is a film directed by Brian De Palma, and it stars Nikolai Coster-Waldau, Karis Van Houten, Eric Abouane, Mohamed Azai, and Guy Pearce. Now, this is a film about a Copenhagen police officer played by Nikolai Coster-Waldau, who witnesses his cop partner, played by, who was it? Surin Malling. He is executed by Ezra Tarzi, who was played by Eric Abouane, and he basically sets out for revenge against the guy who killed him, being Ezra Tarzi, and he ends up teaming up with Alex Bowe, a fellow police officer, played by Karis Van Houten, in order to track him down and find out the sinister terrorism plot that is happening alongside. And a lot in another part of the world, Guy Pearce as Joe Martin is a CIA agent who ends up capturing Tarzi and using him in order to find the terrorists. And yeah, hijinks ensue. So what did I think of this film? I think it's decent, this version of it, because there isn't another version that exists, and I'll just get it out of the way right now. I've heard about the production issues this film faced. It was apparently a very tight shoot, a cheap shoot in Denmark. Yeah, Denmark. This is in Brian De Palma, the director's words. De Palma complained about the difficult production conditions. I had a lot of problems in financing. I never experienced such a horrible movie set. A large part of our team has not even been paid yet by the Danish producers. The film is finished and ready to go out, and I have no idea what its future will hold. It is currently in the hands of the producers. This was my first experience in Denmark and most likely my last. So, apparently, the film was severely underfunded. He was expecting to get more funding. He originally only got about $6 million to produce the film. Now, from what I saw, the budget was around 7.8, so I guess they got a little bit of a higher budget. Maybe that was post-production added in, but this seems to be the most tampered with De Palma movie, and just looking at the length, it's only 89 minutes, which something seemed off to me the first time I watched this, knowing it was a De Palma film. It is still the latest De Palma film. Maybe this turned him off from directing ever again. He is 80 years old, so maybe that's it. This film has a 4.5 out of 10 on IMDb, and I can see the issues, because this is a very uneven film. Very uneven. I still thought it was okay for like, it was like a 6 out of 10 movie with some real like 8 out of 10 moments, you know, like some even 9 out of 10 moments. There were a couple moments that I thought could be in a really great film, a really great crime film. And yeah, according to IMDb, it says budget was nearly $8 million. This film, when you look at it, not knowing anything about the production, you probably won't think much of it, but something I did notice, I keep getting ahead of myself. I should get to the actors first. Nikolai Coster-Waldau as Christian Toft. He does a good job. He has quite a few moments where he can shine. He was on Game of Thrones along with Karis Van Houten. And I do think that he's good for this role. It's an interesting role for him. Karis Van Houten, also good. She kind of has a weird face that she makes a lot throughout the movie. She has that kind of like she looks shocked a lot of the time. She's still good though. She is still good. I keep forgetting where she's from. Oh, she's Dutch. Okay. Yeah. She was good in the film. Guy Pearce, he kind of plays a run-of-the-mill CIA, like, it feels like an American character played by someone who's not American, which he isn't. He's Australian. It's not an amazing accent, and it feels very, manufactured. His character was okay, though, I guess. Eric Abuane as Ezra Tarzi, he is an actor that's in a lot of Brian De Palma movies. The latest one I can think of that he was in was Femme Fatale. I do like him. I do think he's a good actor. He almost never gets to star in anything, and there are moments of this film where he's front and center, because technically he is the main villain, technically. He is... I do think he plays a good character. His character is interesting. Like, he's clearly evil, but he also... The film doesn't, like, try to make him out to be a good guy. It's more that, yes, even people who work with terrorists have real families, that kind of thing. Brian De Palma's been very interested in terrorism stuff, especially given Redacted, which apparently was about ISIS and stuff like that, or terrorism in general. But, yeah, and Muhammad Azai as Salah al-Din. I guess he was supposed to be the main villain, but he's kind of just there. He's not really that imposing. But yeah, this film has a very heavy focus on ISIS, or just terrorism as a whole. It seems to focus on ISIS because there are multiple sequences of the film where it will just kind of cut to the villains, which they work for ISIS, or in ISIS. I don't know what the correct term is. And this film, around when it came out, would be like perfectly in the middle of the whole ISIS thing, right before they supposedly disbanded, but they keep coming back. Apparently they're back now, ISIS-L or something. But yeah, there are a few scenes in the film that really do work and are disturbing to watch, that depict the whole terrorism thing just front and center, like raw. A case in point, the scene where Salah al-Din gets this, I think, French woman. I think she's French. She speaks French at one point. She has like a hijab on, or the like wear that women wear in that country. And she's like holding a submachine gun with like a phone attached to it that's like recording, and she's like doing a message talking about how she'll wipe out the non-believers. And then there's the scene at the film festival where she basically just starts mowing people down, and then her gun gets jammed, and then she basically sets off the explosives that are tied around her. That scene could be in a fantastic movie and could be like very chilling. I do wish there was a bit of more build up to it, like if we got to see this woman's life beforehand, like not like a ton, like a scene of her living a normal life, contemplating like leaving it all, her being depressed or something and thinking that this will give her like a meaning in life or something like that. I think that would have added something. Not like to make her a good person, because what she did was terrible, of course. But a lot of these movies about terrorism seem to miss that. But the main issue overall with this film would be the editing, because the first half... Sorry about that. The first half and the first third... Okay. The first 20 minutes and the last 20 minutes feel very disjointed. In the middle feels like normal, basically. But the beginning and end, yes, the beginning, I feel like Waldau's character's like friend, his partner who's a cop, doesn't have enough to his character for me to care when he dies. And I know that might have been the point, but given the thought that this was a troubled production, it makes me think that there were scenes cut out, and there are multiple scenes where it'll just cut to a scene for a half a second and then cut back. And it looks really, disjointed. It looks like an editing mistake almost. And there's not enough of a build-up to Karis Van Houten and Nikolai Coster-Waldau working together. There isn't. And so like them working together in the police station doesn't feel like it's set up in any way. It just kind of feels like, oh, this is where we are now. The film lacks a bit of motivation, because like while there are moments that I think really work in the film, I do think it's missing something. And even though Brian De Palma, in his own words, said that the finished product is still really good, I get the feeling he's kind of backtracking, because I'm not going to say like this is an awful movie. It's not. I think the 4.5 out of 10 on IMDb is mostly people who are disappointed that a Brian De Palma film isn't better, but given his more recent films like Femme Fatale and Passion, which I thought Femme Fatale was okay, my issue is it's like an 8 out of 10 movie for the first hour and a half, and then the last 30 minutes it just goes downhill because it doesn't know when the fuck to end. And that's an issue that Brian De Palma has later in his career. It like Passion, I liked the film up until the ending. The ending really killed it for me. Like the way that the killer is revealed, the way that characters try to convince themselves that they aren't the killer, and the way and the whole like dream thing pissed me off so much. And I wanted to like that movie because I love Noomi Rapace, I love Rachel McAdams, and I loved that both of them were trying something different. But that ending pissed me off. And that's something that Brian De Palma is kind of notable for, having like fake out endings, which it works for Carrie. It works for what was that? I can't remember the other one, but like it works for a couple of his other movies, but in his later career it just comes off like a cop-out. But like this film, like I first saw it on Prime and I was like, an 89-minute Brian De Palma movie, that seems weird, because I own Dress to Kill and Carrie, the Arrow Video versions of them, and those movies aren't that short. They're like around an hour and 40 something minutes, which is normal for him. So the 89 minutes did seem off. So like I don't know exactly who to blame with this. Brian De Palma blames the Danish film registry or whatever, or the film board, whatever. So I guess they're to blame. But yeah, this feels like a good movie stripped down to sell as an action thriller or something, which it isn't even that actiony, and it's not even that thrillery. It's a more crime drama. But like the two scenes that I say could be in a really damn good movie are the scene of the French woman shooting up the crowd at the film festival, which was really effective, and the scene where, this isn't a spoiler, but frickin' Christian and Alex are in the car and they hear that his partner has just died in the hospital. Like, those scenes have really good acting, really good cinematography, really good execution, and especially the acting. That the acting like is really damn good in those scenes, and there are scenes where these actors just seem kind of lost. So, yeah, that's how I feel. I guess I'll get to the pros and cons. Pros: the actors doing what they can. Nikolai Coster-Waldau, Karis Van Houten. I don't know why they have to have such fucking long names. Guy Pearce, Eric Abuane. They all do what they can with the script, with this direction, and all that. The film looks nice. Brian De Palma definitely knows how to make a film look nice. It looks very well above the budget that it is. There were some bits of CGI, specifically with I'm pretty sure, like, CGI blood for sure. And it didn't look too bad. It looked fine. There was the scene with the... I'm not gonna explain like what this was about, but with the drone cutting into the guy's throat, that looked pretty nasty. The obligatory Brian De Palma split diopter is done in an interesting way during the the scene of terrorism, where the woman, one part of the screen is the front-facing camera of her phone, like looking at her face, and the other side is the people that she's shooting out at. I thought that was a very interesting way to do that split diopter, and very clever, actually. The score from Pino Donaggio, frequent collaborator with Brian De Palma, very good stuff. Cons: yes, the editing feels very disjointed at times. The film definitely feels like it was messed with in either post-production or whatever. There are moments where I swear to God Eric Abuane is dubbed. Now, I know not everybody might see that, but it does feel that way. Because I know his voice, because I remember what he sounded like in Femme Fatale. I know what he's supposed to sound like. But yeah, there are scenes where he seems dubbed, and a couple where it seems like Nikolai Coster-Waldau is dubbed. The ending, too. The ending, it's not as bad as the others because there is some closure, but the ending, where it's just showing the video that was uploaded to YouTube of the suicide bomber shooting up the film festival, it felt very tacked on, and it was basically saying, oh, ISIS, this and this is what ISIS did. I agree with the thing against ISIS, but it seems very odd how they did that ending, and it felt very tacked on. And I don't know why they did it like that. Don't ask me, I don't know, I didn't make the fucking movie. But it kind of feels like they just kind of ran out of movie. And this film is only 82 minutes without the ending credits. Because there aren't the opening credits are over the footage of the movie. The ending credits are like 7 minutes long to get this to 89 minutes. So this isn't even a more cut down movie than I thought it was. But yeah, the editing definitely felt very haphazard at times. There's literally a scene where the Eric Abuane and Guy Pearce are talking at a bar. Like, it cuts to them for like 2 seconds, and then it cuts back to Nikolai, and I was like, why did they cut to that? It just cut to them like drinking beers together, and then later it cuts back to that same exact scene, and then we see what they were saying. Like, it's so confusing. It pisses me off because I can see a good movie here, but it does feel like it's so truncated that it barely has anything of what it was going to be. I mean, I got this Blu-ray for cheap, so that's fine, but yeah, and I kind of wanted every Brian De Palma movie, but yeah, if you see it on Prime, I guess check it out. If you're a fan of Brian De Palma, you'll see something of his direction here, but it's still definitely one of his lesser films. And I know no one will agree with me on this, but I think of his films, this, Blowout, and Passion would definitely be on the low end. I hate the ending to Blowout. I know a lot of people love that film. I will never like it. But yeah, that's the end of the review. If you liked the review, comment, like, subscribe, whatever, and Movie Reviewer Next Door, out.